Good evening, everybody. You are listening to WCBN Sports. We are live from Ann Arbor here at the Yost Ice Arena. My name is Evan Anderson. Joined alongside me is Caleb Brown. We are here for the matchup between the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Again, live from the Yost Ice Arena here. Michigan coming off of a series split here with Madison. Coming into this game, they are ranked second in the country, and they have not lost to Minnesota here. Minnesota leads the all-time series, but they have not lost to Minnesota in about 4 games. So they're going to be looking here to extend that streak to 5. Minnesota having a little bit of an off year. Normally a pretty big staple piece here in NCAA hockey, but this season they've been a little bit more consistent.
It's exciting to be here tonight. Two iconic teams, one iconic venue. Uh, just can't wait to get started
Yep.
here for game.
Yeah, Michigan, again, ranked number 2 nationally. They're looking to close the regular season here at Yost with momentum going into the postseason. Minnesota here is they're trying to play a little bit of spoiler here. Again, they've been inconsistent this year, so they're going to try and see if they can spoil Michigan's season a little bit. Michigan's identity kind of come into this game. They're built around. They do a lot of offensive pressure. They are built around pace. They lead the nation with over 4.5 goals a game. They have 17 skaters in double figures for points, so they tend to do a lot of offensive pressure. Whereas Minnesota, they're a little bit they are still also a very powerful offensive team. Defensively, they're a little bit less, and they like kind of a little bit of the opposite. They like to slow the game down, control the pace of play, compared to Michigan, who likes to accelerate that.
Yeah, for sure. Michigan has looked very, very strong all season, dominating on both sides of the ice, and I would expect no different for the rest of this season. Spring fever is really in the air here in Ann Arbor, but
Yep.
hockey season is not quite done, and this weekend is a big one, especially
Mm-hmm.
for the senior weekend
Yep.
here. Um, a lot is at stake, um, even though we're wrapping up this season.
Yep. And for Minnesota again, we're gonna have the national anthem here. We will take a quick pause here for the national anthem. Never mind. Apologize. We're not taking a pause yet for the national anthem. Um, so, anyway, we're going to keep running. For Minnesota, again, they're coming in. Michigan is the favorite, and the key for Minnesota here is going to be the discipline. They need to be disciplined. They cannot let this game kind of get too accelerated here. They need to really control it through. They need to manage the puck nicely through the neutral zone, and they're definitely going to want to limit the odd man rushes here, because that is going to be the key for them to stay in this game.
Yeah, I could not agree more. They've had a tough Friday in Madison. Took a 4-1 loss. They were able to bounce back the next night, and in order to keep that up, they need to continue to apply that pressure on the offense as well as on the defense. Mainly get the puck rolling, I should say, on offense and get off to a better start than last Friday.
Exactly. I think the other big thing that I'm looking at going into this matchup is going to be the special teams come on both sides. Both teams are excellent in terms of power play percentage. Michigan is second in the country, Minnesota's third. But where the big difference here is going to be is Minnesota ranks towards the bottom of the country in terms of power play kill, so they are really going to want to limit their penalties, because you do not want this Michigan team, with how excellent they are on power plays, going against this not as proficient power play killing unit for Minnesota. And again, it all comes down to pace of play. Minnesota cannot let this game get out to a track meet. If they let it get out to a track meet, then Michigan is going to really come at, like, they're going to start pulling away. And we saw that in the earlier series, which Michigan swept in Minnesota earlier this season, where Michigan, I believe that first game they won 5-1, I believe. So you cannot let it get out of hand. The first goal here is going to be critical. Michigan excels; they play it super well when they score the first goal and when they are ahead. So, even if you concede a goal after you score the first goal for Minnesota, if you can simply score that first goal and start your momentum and make Michigan play from behind, that will be huge. And now here is when we're gonna have the national anthem, and we'll take a quick pause. All right, everybody, welcome back after that beautiful rendition of the national anthem. Again, picking up where we left out, it's really just going to come down to scoring the first goal is going to be critical here for Minnesota for them to just start that momentum off early. As we are going to wait here in just 20 seconds here until the first puck drop, or probably a little bit longer than that, maybe about a minute here. In terms of key players, is anyone you looking at in particular, Caleb?
Yeah, I would say for as far as the Wolverines, TJ Hughes and Michael Hage as well, two of the standout players for the Wolverines, have been heavy contributors to the Wolverines throughout this season. So very excited to see what they have to offer.
Yeah, could not agree more. In terms of for Minnesota, I'm going to be looking at Brody Zamer. He's a 20-goal scorer. Big net front presence, finishes in tight spaces. He creates a lot of second chances too for his team. And then also Brody Lamb. He's a 30-point playmaker. He's creative on the half wall, and he's a big driver on the power play. So again, if Minnesota can get into that power play, Michigan's power play kill is good. But Minnesota, they're top 3 in power play percentage, so that's going to be huge for them to try and get into that. And now we're just moments away here from puck drop. It's going to be Draper taking it for the Michigan Wolverines, going against Brody Lamb of the Golden Gophers, as we are here seconds away. And the puck drops. Golden Gophers win it, but then it's right back to the Wolverines in Wolverine zone. Tyler Duke has it. Swings it around the boards to Shifsky. Switches it there. So Fantelli, he's going to dump it into the Minnesota zone. Gathered there by Draper. Then he loses it to the Golden Gophers. Minnesota now coming in their own zone. As that's Brody Lamb now taking up the left. Passes across. Tried to find Luke Middlestat, but it goes through his legs. Now Michigan's on the press. Draper here gets a shot off. Nice body save there by Luca DePasco. Michigan has it here near center ice. That shift's going to be over there for Minnesota as new skaters come on the ice. Quick one there for Minnesota. Michigan keeps their skaters on. They have it in their own zone. Jock has it, passes up the ice to Perron, but it cannot get it. It bounces off the boards, and that is going to be an icing call on the Wolverines. That's going to be a face-off in the Wolverine zone. Already, we're seeing a lot of pressure here in the Minnesota zone by the Wolverine forwards.
For sure, this is a critical face-off for the Golden Gophers as they're in Wolverine territory. Have a chance to get that first goal, possibly.
Michigan wins the face-off. Moldenhauer now along the boards. Clark steals it away from him for Minnesota. That ball flicks up, does not go out. Now Michigan with the puck. Robertson skating in the neutral zone. Everyone's scrambling for the puck. Recovered by Minnesota. Now it's stolen away there by Michigan by TJ Hughes. Perron's going to take it around the goal. Going to switch it to Robertson. Robertson now waiting behind the goal in his own zone. Looking for the outbreak to develop. Now he's going to take it up, pass it to Hage. Hage is skating up into the Minnesota zone, into the corner now. Scrambling for the puck as that's Horkoff now working. Michigan passes it from Mullen. And now it's going to be dumped in the Minnesota territory, in Minnesota zone, as they're going to take it up past the blue line. Shot deep from the point there by Hendrickson, off the mark. Michigan will recover. Now, Horkoff now has it along the boards. Scrambling. Barnett recovers. Hendrickson working on him. Horkoff now has it. Switches it over to Mullen. Mullen now trying to find Spence there, but could not find him. They're going to switch skaters. Here along the boards. Now in the Michigan zone. Ivan Kovic has it in a little bit of a scramble there that was Mason Moe, but luckily he was able to get it out of there before there was trouble. McKinney now working. Wolverines are pressing. Valentini. He took a shot but could not get it to go. Now scrambling along the boards in the Minnesota zone near the faceoff circle. Michigan recovers. Duke grabs it. Takes a shot from the point, but saved by DePasco. Now Minnesota has the puck, and now it's going to be back into Michigan, and as they are going to reset. Fantilli now working along the boards. He's going to dump it and switch it over to Shifsky. And now in front of the benches, there's a little bit of scramble for the puck. They seem to lose track of it, and now it's going to be switched to the other side, way back into the Minnesota zone. It's going to be another icing there on the Wolverines. Now, as we wait for this face, again, that shift there was a little bit more back and forth there from the first one. We saw a little bit of trouble there behind the net as Ivan Kovic went to recover the puck as it was behind there, and good on Mason Moe. We're putting pressure on him, but Ivan Kovic recovered.
Yeah, huge crisis averted for the Wolverines. Could have been an early goal from the Golden Gophers right there.
A little bit of an empty net there with Ivan Kovic behind. As the face-off, Minnesota wins the face-off, but then Michigan defends it well as they get it out of their zone. Minnesota will recover it near the center line. They're going to shoot it up into the Michigan zone. That's going to be an icing now on Minnesota. Icing that was on McLaughlin there. He tried to dump it up into the corner, and no one was there to get it. So 2 back-to-back icing calls here in a short span here. Michigan winning a lot of their face-offs as they're going to have a chance here in the Minnesota zone to get a face-off. And it'll be Hughes taking the face-off against Brody Lamb, the captain for Minnesota. As Michigan wins the face-off, Schock's going to dump it into the corner behind the net. Robertson now. He's going to switch it. Finds Moldenhauer behind the net, behind the goal line. A little bit of a scrum, and Minnesota recovers the puck. He's going to find Zemer along the boards, but Moldenhauer steals it away from him. Robertson now in his own zone near the face-off circle. Switches it to Schock. Now to Hughes as they're going to skate up into the Minnesota zone. Nice deke there by Hughes onto Clark. Nice pass to find Perron, and his shot did not go. Now a little bit of a scramble in front of the goal there, but Minnesota recovers and gets it into the Michigan zone. There was a little scramble there in the crease in front of the Minnesota goal. Now Minnesota working behind the Michigan goal. Slap shot deep from the point there that was Gruba. And it was a nice save there by Ivan Kovic. Nice glove save. But it deflected off. Now back deep into the Minnesota zone as Clark's going to go recover. Defended by Draper. He goes to get it, but could not get past. Clark gets past him. And now Moore with it for the Golden Gophers. As a little bit of a scramble here in front of the benches for that puck. As they're just going to dump it into the Michigan zone. And that's going to be Barnett who's going to recover. The puck gets loose close to the goal there. Michigan's able to defend it well, though. Now Gruba switches it across to the other side of the rink. Tries to find that's Hendrickson, but it got away from him. Barnett now for the Wolverines. Over Fantelli. He tries to get it up, but defended well there by Whipple for Minnesota. We've not really been able to see a ton get developed here in terms of shots so far in this first period.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty evenly, as far as defensively, kind of an evenly matched first few minutes of this game.
Yep. A
lot of opportunities on either side.
As Hage gets the steal away from Minnesota, he's going to get it to Duke, who takes a shot off the mark above the goal. But now Michigan recovers again. Duke with another shot. Nice save there by DePasquale. Nice glove save to fall on top of that. Again, we have not seen a ton of shots so far. We've actually only seen 3 shots here from Michigan and 0 shots so far from Minnesota. So, Michigan putting more pressure than Minnesota has, but still not a ton for we're 5 minutes here and just over 14 minutes here left to play. So it's been a lot of just back and forth passing so far.
Yeah, it looks like good old-fashioned hockey that's being played tonight. A lot of defense. You love to see it.
Yeah. And credit to Pascal for making 3 saves already. Protect that goal for the Golden Gophers as Michigan wins that faceoff, but then stolen away by Zemer as he's going to skate into Michigan territory. He was the only man there for the Golden Gophers, but now his team comes and follows him. And now we have a little bit, almost a breakaway there for, that was Luca Fantilli there.
Yeah, looks like there's going to be a holding call on the Golden Gophers.
So already an early power play here, just like we were talking about. Yeah, it was holding there on, slashing on Brody Lamb there. So already early power play here for the Michigan Wolverines. And just like we were talking before we got going, I mean, this is huge for Michigan here. Minnesota's power play kill does not rank well this season, and they are second in the nation. So this is going to be a huge, huge opportunity here for Michigan to score a goal and get the scoring going.
Yeah, I agree. This is a huge opportunity for the Wolverines to take an early lead and set the overall pace of this game.
Minnesota wins that face-off out of the power play, and they shoot it way up the ice, back into behind the net of Michigan. As that's going to be Perron who recovers the puck. He's going to switch it to Hage as he gains speed, gets around a defender to Horkoff in the corner. Horkoff finds Perron again. Spence in the area too. Perron switches it over. That was Hughes. His shot saved off the stick. Now Horkoff at the point. Switch it to Perron. Back to Horkoff. He misses the pass. Perron now at the top near the blue line. Gets it to Horkoff again. He's going to pass it inside to TJ Hughes. Scramble for the puck in the crease of Minnesota. Michigan recovers it though. Perron. Deep shot there from the point by Perron. Nice save. He gets a second chance now off the rebound. Nice shot again there by Horkoff, and another block by a Minnesota defender. Michigan applying a lot of pressure here. And now it's going to be switched over to the other side. We have a whistle here.
Looks like the net might have been slightly propped out of its place.
Yeah.
They'll have to reset that.
45 seconds left on this power play. You know, we saw that was a flurry of shots there by Michigan, but credit to the Minnesota defense, both the pass goal and the two defenders there to block a lot of the shots, because they've already killed more than a minute of this power play, and they got into some tight situations there. So this is impressive here from the Minnesota power play kill unit. Michigan's going to win the faceoff. Mullen now passes it to Mullenhauer. Right near the net to Valentini. His shot does not get to go in, but he gets the rebound. Switches it over to Robertson. Raul Mullen now back to Robertson. Passes inside, close to the crease, but deflected there by Minnesota. Michigan retains it. 25 seconds left on this power play. Moldenhauer now in the faceoff circle. He's going to find Valentini. Robertson. Now to Raul Mullen. Back to Robertson. At the top, Raul Mullen, his shot goes and it's deflected by Valentini, and that's going to be the first goal of the game here for the Michigan Wolverines as they open up the scoring. A nice deep shot by Raul Mullen from the point, deflected in there by Valentini as he was screening the Pascal, and he could not get a read on that puck before it went in.
Yeah, the Golden Gophers continued to stand, and unfortunately for them, they weren't able to. Deeper shot deflected in by Valentini.
Got very close to killing that power play there. I think it was like 5 seconds left there on the power play, and nice shot there by Raul Mullen, and nice deflection there by Valentini. As they're going to redo the face-off here. Again, it'll be Draper against Mason Moe on this face-off. Draper for the Wolverines, Mason Moe for Golden Gophers. Now, Michigan does not win the face-off. Golden Gophers with the puck. But Michigan's able to steal it away. Draper, his shot looks like it got deflected and out into the netting above the goal. Nice deflection there. Yeah, that was a good deflection by Middlestat to prevent that shot from going in, as we're going to have a quick break in play here. Just under 12 minutes to go. Again, Minnesota has yet to register a shot in this game. Michigan has 6 shots compared to Minnesota's 0. And it's been all Michigan, but they got really, again, commend Minnesota. They got so close to killing that power play, and but like we said, Michigan's power play unit is just so good, and they have the upper hand in that matchup when they get a penalty. So Minnesota going forward, again, they're just gonna have to be really, really disciplined the rest of this game to prevent that from happening, because even though you made such a good effort to stop that, it's almost inevitable at that point with how good this Michigan power play unit is.
Yeah, right now they're down 1, not out of this game by any means, but it's going to be tough though to come back from a game that has really been overall, the pace has been set by the Wolverines.
Yep. And
early on and now.
especially with how good Michigan plays when they are ahead. I mean, Michigan is so good. Like their numbers when they score the first goal, it's something like 14, 1 and 0 or something like that. They're ridiculously good when they score the first goal and when they're leading. As we're here honoring the veteran of the game, retired Lieutenant Colonel from the Air Force. He's going to get a stick from one of the players. Lovely.
Yeah, one of the great traditions of Yost Ice Arena, honoring our veterans.
Yep. As we're going to have a face-off here in the Minnesota zone. Just a few moments. Michigan's been running a little bit of longer shifts, it seems, for their skaters compared to Minnesota. Draper now. Minnesota wins the face-off, but Michigan recovers. Shot in behind the net, off the mark. It's going to be Earnesty with it now. He's going to dump it behind the net. Recovered there by Draper. Defended well, though, by Mo. As he's going to try and he was trying to find Shivsky with that pass, but Minnesota steals it away. As now Ubra. Now behind the Michigan net. As there's scrambling for the puck here behind the net, behind the goal line. Earnesty working up there against Townsend. Michigan is able to steal it away off the steal there by Earnesty. Now he's coming the other way with the puck into the Minnesota zone. He takes a shot. Body save there by DePasco. And Minnesota's able to recover it. Gruber with the puck now. Switches it to Middlestat. He's going to pass it deep into the Michigan zone. Was looking for Tyler Pritchard right there, but could not find him. As the puck is rolled, he found itself again behind the Michigan goal. Again, the puck has been here behind Michigan's goal for a while here, but they cannot seem to get a ton of shots off. The Minnesota Golden Gophers. Hendrickson now with it behind the goal. That's going to be stolen away by Musket and the Wolverines. Park has it now. Hughes there too. Passes to Hughes. Good defense there by Axel Beagley for Minnesota, as they're going to keep possession in their own zone. A little bit of a tough angle here. And there's a little bit of a scramble for the puck in the corner there. It's not clear who has it, and now Michigan has the puck. Taken now by Beckett Hendrickson for the Golden Gophers. He's going to pass it up, but stolen away there by TJ Hughes. Good heads-up play. He's going to pass inside to Spence, but pass was off the mark. Michigan recovers it, though. Barnett now. Passes it to Horkoff. He's going to pass it to Spence. Looks like they're going to call, I think it might be an offsides there. They're going to call on the Michigan Wolverines. Horkoff a little bit too ahead of himself there. As yes, this will be an offsides here. Again, Minnesota's been they've been scrambling for the puck a couple times here behind the net of the Michigan Wolverines, but they have not been able to turn that into shots, turn that into goals yet.
Yeah, they've had a tough night so far. 7 shots for the Wolverines, just 2-0 for the Golden Gophers.
As they dump it here into the Michigan zone, and they're going to swing it around to Horkoff near the benches. Stolen away there by John Whipple for the Red Wings draft pick for the Minnesota. As now it's going to be Brody Zemer. He's going to pass it, and it's going to be deflected out into the crowd off the stick of Fantilli. Brody Zemer was looking to find Leo Gruba along the left side. And that puck is going to be deflected. We're going to have a face-off here in the Michigan zone. This is going to be critical here for Minnesota to try and manufacture something, as we have just over 9 minutes to play here left in the first period. Michigan up 1-0. Again, you are listening to WCBN Sports. So McKinney's going to go for the face-off here against Clark. And Michigan will win the face-off. Barnett now with it. Finds Musket. Minnesota steals it away. Lutke finds Clark. Back to Lutke in the face-off circle. Could not get it to go. Now deep shot here from the point by John Whipple, but it was deflected away from the goal. Now Michigan scrambling for the puck in their own zone, behind the goal line. Raul Mullen with it now. Valentini could not cut his head around quick enough to find the puck. And now it's back behind the goal, and Ivan Kovic's going to recover it. Back to Mullen. Now to Barnett. He's going to get up to Moldenhauer. Good defense there by Mo to try to intercept that, but he could not. Now it's flicked into the Minnesota zone as they're going to scramble for that in the corner there. Minnesota recovers. Gubra with it, switches it around back. Finds Townsend. Defended well, though, by Schock for Michigan. Good deke there by Perron to get past the defender as he's scrambling into the corner. Swings it around the back of the goal. Now back towards the faceoff circle. Back again behind the back of the goal, Gruba. Now Moldenhauer has it. He's going to take a shot. Deflected away, though. Nice save. As Robertson now skating around. As this is a little bit of a breakaway here for Minnesota as Gruba has it, but it's deflected nicely by Robertson to prevent that. They had the numbers, but Robertson made a nice play there to prevent that breakaway from happening.
Yeah, that one was intended for Teddy Townsend right there. Could have been an easy goal.
Schock now pass it into the middle of the court. Sorry, not court, rink. As it's scrambling along the boards, Michigan will recover. Duke, into his pass, Aaron, right next to the goal, gave it almost right to, that was Middlestat, I believe. He was being a little bit lazy with the puck there, basically gifted it to Kyle Thomas actually, right in front of the goal, but luckily Duke had heads-up play there to steal it away. That could have been dangerous there for the Wolverines.
Yeah, just kind of a rare mistake on the Wolverines' part. Fortunately for them, the crisis was averted. They'll go back to face off and block in.
Yep. It looks like he was looking to find Nick Moldenhauer, but he didn't quite turn his head all the way to make sure that he was there and just kind of lightly passed it behind him. Michigan catches a break there. Barnett's going to now recover the puck after the face-off. Hage now skating up. Tries to find Horkoff, defended nicely, though, by Thomas. Oh, close shot there by Michigan as they scrambled around off the deflections. As Minnesota now pushes. Hendrickson going against Barnett. Pritchard with the puck now. Behind the goal line, stolen away there by Will Horkoff. Now finds Spence. To Rail Mullen. Back to Spence. So he's going to skate past the blue line. Now into the Minnesota zone. Finds Hage, could not quite get the pass to go. Hage recovers, though. They dump it around on the boards. Again, switch it again. That's going to be Schock there in the corner. He takes a hit, but keeps going. Now Minnesota here with numbers as they're moving. Brody Zemer now. Pass goes off his stick. He's going to get pressed up against the boards there in the corner. Minnesota with the puck now. Brody Lamb, he takes a shot. Nice save by Ivan Kovic. Now Michigan recovers after the rebound. Schock finds Park along the right. He's coming back to the middle. He takes a shot. Could not get his shot to go. Looks like he got tipped right as he was going to shoot. McKinney now. Stolen away by Zemer as he goes 1-on-2. Nice hit there in the corner by Fantilli. Steal it away from Zemer. Now back to McKinney in the middle. He takes a shot, but it's deflected nicely by Whipple before it can get to the goal. Just under 6 minutes to play here in the first period. Tried to find a pass for Lutke, and that's going to go. Yes, he took a hit. I believe that's going to be, face-off now. That was icing.
Yeah, it looks like Minnesota's starting to build a slightly bigger amount of momentum. So far, they've gotten their first shot.
Yep.
On goal.
They've had a couple, not quite breakaways. It hasn't been, one forward behind the rest of them. They've had a couple instances where they've had the numbers skating towards into the Michigan zone and have not quite been able to convert yet.
For sure, yeah. They look like they're, overall, I would say they're a little bit more involved and a lot more into the game now than they were maybe 5 minutes ago as we near the final 5 minutes of this period.
And again, Michigan with 8 shots here on the night. Multiple players registering 1 shot, and then Nick Moldenhauer with 2 and TJ Hughes with 2 leading the way for the Michigan Wolverines. As they are showing the replays of past matches between the Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Minnesota leads the series all time, but again, like we mentioned, they They have not won in 4 games, so they're looking to snap that streak there as we prepare here for the face-off.
Yeah, it's great to see two big name
Blue
brands
bloods.
in hockey.
Yeah, blue
going
bloods
at
of
it.
NCAA hockey here.
2 hockey states.
Yep.
Going at it.
Yeah, I mean, if anyone at home watched the Olympics, there was a lot of players there from not necessarily a couple players that went to Michigan, but also just a ton of players from the state of Michigan that played on both the men's and also the women's team. As we were waiting here for this face-off, it's going to be Clark versus Hughes again. As now we are going to see the face-off here. Minnesota wins the face-off. Middle stat to Gruba. Tries to dump it behind the Michigan net, but Ivan Kovic recovers it. Now Moldenhauer to Fantilli. He switches it around the Minnesota net, but good defense there by Gruba. Oh, his pass intercepted. A shot by Duke, but nice glove save there by DePascal. Gruba was trying to switch it along the boards, but intercepted there, nicely read by Tyler Duke, and he took a shot deep from the point, but DePascal was ready for it. Caught it with his glove.
Yeah, and right now the Wolverines are continuing to apply that same amount of pressure that we're used to seeing, and really demonstrating why they're one of the best teams in the country right now.
Offense. And so far, I mean, Minnesota's a very dangerous offensive unit, but so far they've just not quite been able to get anything going this game. As we have just over 5 minutes to go here in the first period. Barnett now gets the puck off the faceoff. His shot's going to be deflected away into the corner. As they're fighting for it in the corner. Shot there by Perron, deflected away. Michigan retains possession. Moldenhauer finds Hughes. Hughes inside to Perron, deflected away by Gruba. Now Barnett, as Middlestein is going to pin him against the wall there. Rail Mullen now has the puck along the right for the Wolverines. Switches to TJ Hughes. TJ Hughes, backhand. Deacon a couple defenders there. Finds Rail Mullen. He's going to pass it inside. And then a little bit of a one-time shot there by Ernest. Could not get it to go. Deflected there by several Minnesota defenders. As Mo is going to take it up the rink, up the ice for Minnesota. Stolen away there by Ernest for the Wolverines. As he tried to find Shifsky, but could not get the pass to connect. Minnesota now in their own zone with the puck. Now Minnesota taking it up. Flick it up to get it behind. That was Robertson, but Minnesota steals it away. Now Michigan with the press here. As Ernest is going to take it up just past the center line. Good defense by Beagley to recover for Minnesota. Just under 4 minutes to play here in the first period at Yost Ice Arena. Robertson now takes it. Defended there by Pritchard. He's going to take it behind the Michigan net. As they're going to do a little bit of shift change here. Both teams actually will do a shift change. Get fresh skaters on the ice. Horkoff and Hage back now. As they're going to fling it down way deep into the Minnesota zone. Dump it to see if they can get something going. Now Zemer took it away for the Golden Gophers. As here comes Lamb for Minnesota. He takes a shot, deflected immediately by Fantilli. Was off the mark. Along the boards on the other side, on the far side now. Scrambling for it. Lamb could not come up with it. Minnesota has the puck now. Deep shot from, that was Whipple, and it's going to be recovered nicely there by Ivan Kovic. As here come the Wolverines, coming past the blue line. Trailing back now. As here's Duke, again coming across the blue line. Now the red center line. Is he going to flick it up deep, trying to find Hage there, but now it's in the corner for Minnesota. So they're going to swing it around for Ludke, and he could not get there. So now Rail Mullen will recover for the Michigan Wolverines. Must get back there with him, and Barnett passes into the middle to Valentini. Tries to find McKinney there, defended nicely by Middlestein. Middlestat, sorry. As a little bit of a scramble for the puck behind the Minnesota goal. Going to find Rail Mullen on the point. He takes a deep shot, deflected nicely by John Whipple. Well, Horcroft was also there screening the goalie. Clark now takes a shot, deflected up into the air, into the corner. Barnett takes it. Finds McKinney, switches it over. It's Rail Mullen. Going to find Valentini, who's tried to switch it into the middle, but there was nobody there. Shift change here for the Michigan Wolverines. Just under 2 minutes to play here now in the first period. And Middlestat takes it away. Tries to switch it over to Gruba, intercepted by Nick Moldenhauer. As they're going to take it up ice, Moldenhauer takes it now. A little backhand flick off. It looked like it was off the glove there of DePascal. Nice save. Robertson now takes it. Moe's going to take it away from him for the Golden Gophers in the corner. Scrambling for the puck. Minute and 10 seconds left to go here in the first period. TJ Hughes with it now as he takes it away from Minnesota. And a quick defensive shift change here for the Wolverines as they're applying a ton of pressure here in the Minnesota zone. Now they're going to do a whole shift change as the puck is just being passed around behind the Minnesota goal. Flick deep up into the Michigan zone now. Brody Zemer was there trying to steal it away. Howard Duke has it for the Michigan Wolverines. Switches to Fantilli. Back to Duke. He's going to take it past the blue line. And it's going to be flung into the Minnesota zone as Ernest, he tries to recover, but could not get there before. And now Minnesota has it. As that's going to be Thomas who has the puck for Minnesota. Into the corner there, back behind the Minnesota goal line, pardon. As it's going to be switched to the other corner now. Tyler Duke gets there first. Finds, close one there as he tried to find Wilshivsky, and his shot was deflected away. 5 seconds left to go here in the first period. As it's going to be passed around and, almost. A pass there into the crease for Shivsky, but nice save by DePascal to prevent another goal here in the first period. Again, we end here the first period. Michigan up 1-0 as we go into the first intermission. Michigan has the edge with 9 shots to 2. What have you seen for these first two teams here in this first period?
Really, I would say we've seen the much expected pressure applied by the Wolverines throughout that first period. They've created a lot of chances, 9 shots, one goal so far, 2 shots from Minnesota, and 0 goals. We've seen a bit of momentum start with the Golden Gophers. Overall, though, Wolverines have really been the story tonight.
So if you're head coach Bob Motzko, what are you telling the Minnesota team here in this first intermission to try and get them back into this game in the second period?
Yeah, these first minutes of the second period are really important. Obviously, only down 1 goal right now. There's still 40 minutes of hockey to be played.
Yep.
I can think making some adjustments on offense, trying to create more chances as opposed to the 2 that were created tonight.
And a big thing also that I'd be telling the team is they show we have it here on our stats. Michigan is winning 70% of the faceoffs here. Or they won 70% of the faceoffs in the first period. That's going to be huge to try and disrupt Michigan's momentum. And anytime there's any sort of break and play that results in a faceoff, you can't just automatically give it back to the Wolverines there off the faceoffs. You have to put a lot more effort there into these faceoffs to try and gain some momentum here.
For sure.
And if you're Michigan, what are you thinking going into the locker room in this first intermission? What can they improve on, or are they simply just going to keep playing the way they're playing?
Yeah, I would say for the most part, just continue to apply that same amount of pressure throughout these next 40 minutes.
Yep.
This definitely isn't a time to let your foot off the gas pedal. Just keep applying that pressure and stay with it for these next couple minutes.
I could not agree more. The only thing that I say they probably could improve on is they are clearly winning the shots here 9-2, but a lot of those shots have not necessarily been high percentage shots. A lot of them have been forced from very deep. Or it's one thing to have a shot deep and you have someone screening the goalie trying to get deflection there, but some of these shots have just not necessarily been super high percentage shots. So even though you're putting a ton of pressure on, try and take a little bit better looks here going in this second period. As we're going to take a short break here now during this first intermission. Again, you were listening to WCBN Sports. We'll be back with coverage here in 5 or 6 minutes for the second period of this match between the Minnesota Golden Gophers and Michigan Wolverines. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yost Ice Arena. You are listening to WCBN Sports. Again, I'm Evan Anderson, joined by Caleb Brown here, as we are going to prepare here for the coverage of the second period here between Michigan Wolverines and the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Going into the second period, Michigan up 1-0. If you're just joining us, Michigan's up 1-0. They lead in the shots total 9-2 against the Minnesota Golden Gophers. We have just over a minute left here in this intermission as we're preparing for the skaters to come back out on the ice. Ice is fresh after the Zamboni. Players should be rejuvenated as here come the Michigan Wolverines. And on the other end, here come the Minnesota Golden Gophers. You want to just recap again what we saw in that first period?
Yeah, for sure. The first 20 minutes saw a lot of pressure applied from the Wolverines. A lot of that was pretty expected considering the amount of pressure that they've been able to put on both sides of the puck throughout the season. Minnesota off to a little bit of a slow start, but they've been able to get back in it. And on defense, they really do look like
they've excelled. They have really played well with considering the amount of pressure and amount of time the puck had spent in the Minnesota zone. Really credit to that defense for minimizing the goals there and also just minimizing the opportunities there. Again, they forced a lot of not necessarily quality shots here from the Michigan Wolverines. So again, credit to them coming in here as the underdogs. As we are preparing for this puck drop here, beginning of the second period. Michigan up 1-0. Again, you're listening to WCBN Sports. It's going to be Draper here for Michigan in the puck drop. Fowlson for the Golden Gophers. Minnesota wins the puck drop. Ruba now has it. And now it's going to be skipped all the way back into the Michigan zone. Immediate icing call here as Ruba was trying to pass it right to trying to find it was Luke Middlestat he was trying to find, but nobody touched it into the Michigan zone. I mean, icing here right to start off. Again, Michigan won 70% of the faceoffs in the first period, so this is already a close opportunity for them. As a little bit fumbling around there with the puck, Minnesota is able to win it. And they flick it up along the boards. Michigan steals it. Draper now has it. He flings it, tries to dump it behind the net of Minnesota. Ruba's going to recover. Now Pritchard has it for Minnesota. Finds Hendrickson in the middle. His shot off wide to the left. Tries to switch it around. Nobody was there. Middlestat has it. Interesting play happened there. Middlestat was looking. He did not recover the puck, and Draper was trying to fling it across the boards, but it looked like it hit a Minnesota Golden Gopher that was on the bench, so that's going to be out of bounds. We'll have a face-off here in the Michigan zone. Referees are talking about the play right now. Good breakaway there for the Minnesota Golden Gophers as Hendrickson had a clear shot on goal, but that shot was just wide.
Yeah, it looks like really early. I know it's very early in the second period, but a lot more pressure.
Yeah, for sure. As Thomas now takes a shot from the point, deflected away by Ivan Kovic. Again, another shot for Minnesota to open this second period. Oldenhauer now has it behind the Minnesota net. Passes it to Perron. He tries to fling it in deep to Schock, but it's knocked out of the air by Lamb. So they're going to fling it inside to Perron. A nice save there by DePascal. As it was Ziemer there. Brody Ziemer was trying to clear it away. Intercepted by Perron, and his shot saved by DePascal. Already, it took us a little bit of a long time to get the first shot of the game in the first period, and already in the first, less than a minute and a half, we have 3 shots here combined. 2 of them by Minnesota as they're applying a ton of pressure. So we have a face-off in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota wins the face-off. Ruba has it. Trying to pass to Lucky. Heads up play by Robinson there to intercept it, though, as Michigan has the puck. Dumps behind the Minnesota net. Page going to win the race to get it. Working with Horkoff. Horkoff doesn't see the puck. Minnesota takes it away. Middlestat to Gruba. His pass off the mark. Michigan will recover behind their net. Now, Page has it. Finds Spence. Finds Wolkoff along the other end. Looks like it's going to be an offsides there. Horkoff was offsides receiving the puck there. A little bit too much. He was a little bit too excited there. As Michigan did have the numbers, they had 3 skaters to Minnesota's 2, so a little bit antsy there, and maybe an offsides. It's going to be McKinney going against Mo for this faceoff. He's going to tell 2 skaters behind him. Michigan is going to win the faceoff as it falls all the way back to Ivan Kovic in his own zone. Rail Mullen. He's going to take it up. It splits the defender. So McKinney. Backhand pass. No one there. Barnett collects it. He tried to find, I believe that was McKinney again, Valentini, and he was off the mark with the pass. Behind the Michigan goal now. Passes it inside to Mo. He's going to try and take a spin shot there. And could not get it to go. Scrambling for the puck near the Michigan crease. As Rail Mullen's going to recover it for Wolverines. But it gets away from him. Mo now has it as he's hit up against the wall. Mullen and McKinney working to find that puck. A little bit of a standstill right now as it's freed away by McKinney. He's going to take it up the ice. Minnesota steals it away. On the opposite corner. Working against along the boards. It's flung away there by Musket. Minnesota will have the puck. Again along the boards here. Minnesota retains possession of the puck. Jake Rombach with it, passes it to John Whipple. Whipple now deep up the ice. It's going to be icing called there as he was trying to find an attacking player, but no one was there for him. So it'll be an icing face off here in the Minnesota zone. Yeah, a lot more pressure here for Minnesota so far in this period. McKinney here waits for the face-off. Pardon me, that was TJ Hughes. As Minnesota's going to win the face-off. Brody Zemer now with it. Trying to find Brody Lamb as he's going to skate up the ice. He gets a shot off the mark. Well defended there by Fantilli. Behind the Michigan goal now in the corner. Now Whipple has it on the point. He takes a shot, but he broke his stick along the way as he's going to skate off the ice now. Perron now with it. He went for a shot, but the puck was not there for him. It got tipped away. TJ Hughes now on the rebound. Tried to find Perron again. Michigan keeps possession. Going to switch it around to TJ Hughes right behind the goal. He was trying to find Moldenhauer, but defended well by Grube as he hits him up along the wall. Now Tyler Duke. Skating past goal line as he's going to lose his footing. Grube now takes it for the Golden Gophers. Off the ice now, Brody Zemer. He takes a shot, and that's going to be up and wide. Nice hit there by Moldenhauer along the boards that was Eric Carlson. Michigan with the puck now in the Minnesota zone behind the goal. Ernest tried to get there but could not get it. Now Robertson will have it. Now we're going to call a little bit of a cross check, I think. Yep. Cross check on, that was Drapers. It's going to be a power play here with 4.5 minutes into the second period. Power play here for Minnesota. This is a huge chance for Minnesota.
Yeah, for sure. They've come out of the gate and they've applied a lot more pressure than they did in the first period. They have a big chance right here to try to get even with the Wolverines.
Pardon us, we had the score bug wrong on the broadcast. It is 1-0 here, Michigan to Minnesota, with just over 15 minutes to go here in the second half. 1-0 Michigan up as Minnesota wins the face-off. Brody Lamb now with it. He takes a shot, saved by Ivan Kovic. Rebound Michigan. As now that's McKinney's going to take it up the ice by himself. Defended well there by Middlestat as Minnesota's going to be back in the Michigan zone. Michigan on their heels a little bit now. They're in the power play. Minnesota, excellent power play team this season. Puck's going to go into the middle of the ice. deflected nicely away by McKinney. Take off the pressure a little bit during this power play. Just over 1 minute left on the power play for Minnesota. Brody Lamb with it. Back to Brody Lamb. Finds Brody Zemer. Into the corner. Lamb is smashed up against the boards. As the puck switches all the way back to the Minnesota zone. Michigan doing a good job of getting the puck out of the zone during this power play. Mo is going to take it into the zone. Nice glove save by Ivan Kovic. Wasn't necessarily a shot, more of a deflection that came his way, and he was able to grab it. As we have 55 seconds left in this power play for Minnesota. Again, Michigan's done a great job of getting the puck out of their zone to prevent pressure from building up here. Minnesota's going to win the faceoff out of this. Gruber with it now on the point. He finds Eric Fowlson there. Scramble in front of the crease. Clark now has it. His shot deflected away by Ivan Kovic. Now working along the boards. Michigan has the puck. Gruber takes it away. Minnesota goes to collect themselves. They have 30 seconds left in the power play. They want to get something here, just like Michigan did on their power play. Good defense there by Ernest. Moore lost the stick. It's going to be a face-off here in the neutral zone. Moore lost the stick in the process. 22 seconds left in this power play. Just under 14 minutes to go in the second period. And so far this period, Minnesota started to close the shot gap. And coming into this, it was 9-2 in favor of Michigan. Now it's 10-6. Still in favor of Michigan, but they're starting to close that gap here in the shots. Ruben now switches it way along the boards. Michigan steals it away, though. 12 seconds to go on the power play. Nelson has it. Finds Gruba. Looks like there was an offsides, I believe. 4 seconds left to go on the power play. We're going to have a quick break and play again. Offsides on Minnesota. And Michigan is 4 seconds away from being at full strength here as Draper eagerly awaits to come out of the penalty box. Minnesota wins the faceoff. And Michigan is back to full strength as Draper comes back onto the ice. Michigan now has the puck. Spence putting pressure on the Golden Gophers. He's going to check Thomas. Robertson now deep shot, saved by Pascal. Hughes collects the rebound. Now Minnesota on a push here. Middlestat gets it behind the Michigan net. Whipple loses his footing, and now it's Michigan puck. Page has it now. Finds Shock in the middle of the ice. He's going to skate around. Tried to find Spence there, but could not get the pass to connect. Mullen now has it. Shock behind the net. Defended well by Middlestat. Michigan retains possession, though. His shot does not go. Deflected away by Thomas. Horkoff gets the rebound, though. Barnett now passes. It's going to go all the way back into the Michigan zone as Michigan will try to collect themselves. Rail Mullen. Into the middle of the ice to Park. Park takes it. He's going to slow it down. Back to Rail Mullen. His shot does not go. It looked like it might have deflected off into the top of the net, but it actually deflected above the net there. As there's a nice shot by Rail Mullen from the point deep. A little bit of traffic there in the way of DePascal. Had a chance to score there, and now Michigan. And we'll have a quick break here. Again, Michigan up 1-0. Just over 12 minutes to play here. Michigan leading shots 11-6. What have you seen so far in this period in the first 8 minutes?
A lot more possession, a lot more pressure from Minnesota than we saw in that first period. And really, like we talked about earlier, the Golden Gophers are closing that gap with the shots. taken. Right now, 11-6. It was about 9-2 at the end of the first period. So.
And you commend them for closing the gap there. But you still wanted to see them put a little bit more pressure during that power play. They've been doing a great job of putting pressure on outside of that, but during that power play, Michigan was able to poke the puck away several times here to prevent them from getting shots off during the power play. So, if Minnesota is going to look to try and get another power play, they're going to want to put, build up pressure during that and not just outside of that during regular play. As we are preparing to get back ready to play here. You are listening to WCBN Sports. We are live from Yost Ice Arena in Ann Arbor. Just over 12 minutes left to play here in the second. About halfway, a little bit past halfway through this game. Between these two blue blood hockey schools. Michigan ranked number 2 in the country right now. Minnesota having a little bit slower of a year. Still a dangerous team to play. Kenny versus Lamb on the faceoff. And Minnesota will win it. Middlestat now with it. Finds Ziemer deep in Michigan territory, and that's a beautiful finish by Brody Ziemer as he was able to get this pass deep. He was Middlestat was all the way back in his own zone. Beautiful pass to find Ziemer. He led the pass perfectly to avoid the offsides, and it was a beautiful finish by Ziemer to tie it up now, 1-1. We were just talking about how Minnesota has put a lot more pressure on during this second period, and pays off right there as they tie the game. Yeah. Beautiful finish there by Ziemer.
Yeah, we saw it coming. There was just so much pressure from the Golden Gophers. That was pretty much inevitable.
Yeah.
And we're all even.
And it was beautiful to break away there by Ziemer to get open for that pass, and then just took one touch there and just absolutely crushed it in the top of the goal. It's going to be an offsides here after the face-off on Michigan. We'll have another face-off, pardon. Yeah, beautiful finish there by Ziemer. Top corner of the net. Ivan Kovic could not quite get his glove up there. Far post finish. Excellent stuff there as we tie the game now. And Michigan will grab the puck after the faceoff there. Here comes Schock. Passes it to Perron. Behind the Minnesota net now. As they're going to try and swing it along the boards. Intercepted there by Moldenhauer. Now Michigan has the puck. Schock's going to swing it around the back. Pascoff tried to come out of net there to try and intercept it there, but couldn't get there. Perron all the way back now in the Michigan zone. Behind their own net. Shift change here for both teams. New skaters on the ice. Michigan here prepares to take it into the Minnesota zone. As they're going to dump it behind now. Switch it to Park. Park loses his footing. McKinney's there to recover the puck, though. Intercepted now by Moore. Now Minnesota has it in Michigan's territory. Great pass there. But he couldn't quite gather it. That was Ludke. Clark now has it. Michigan takes it away. Horkoff now. It's McKinney. Now intercepted by Clark. And now another shot here from Moore, right into the hands of Ivan Kovic, though. A little bit of I don't want to say sloppy, but Minnesota was able to poke the puck away. Clark immediately got it back to Moore for an open shot there on the net, but nice hands by Ivan Kovic. Again, seeing the deficit in shots closed, 11-8 now, as Minnesota is really building up the pressure in this second period. Just over 10 minutes to play. As Michigan has the puck out of the faceoff. It's going to be Shifsky taking it with him. His shot does not go as Shifsky is going to slam into the post. We're going to have a quick pause and play here now. They're going to need to reset the goal. Shifsky barreled through it and knocked it out. Shifsky and Ernest on that little breakaway. It was 2-on-2. Could not get it to go. We'll have a face-off here in the neutral zone. Draper wins it for Michigan. Fantilli has it. Valentini swings it along the back of the boards. Pascal comes out and grabs it for the Golden Gophers. Trying to find Pritchard along the boards, could not get there. Tyler Duke now deflected off his skate up into the air. Minnesota's going to take the puck. Middlestat with it. Try and dump it back in the Michigan zone. As that was Duke coming in for a monster hit against Hendrickson, but just barely missed him. The puck's going to go into the middle of the ice, recovered by Mo. He was trying to find Hendrickson there on a little 2-on-1 breakaway. Defended well, though, by Michigan. As Mo now has the puck. Fine. It was Clark on the point, took a deep shot, deflected away, though, by Michigan's defense. The puck's going to now find Pascal in the back of their zone. Middlestat now has it. Mo takes it up the ice. Gets behind one defender. Here's a shot now, and Ivan Kovic saved with the leg. Open shot there from Mo. Great save by Ivan Kovic. As Middlestat now has it for the Golden Gophers. Switch it back around. Ivan Kovic will cover it. Find Robertson. Pass it up the ice. Intercepted, though, by Brody Lamb, the goal scorer from... Sorry, not the goal scorer. That was Brody Lamb. And his shot can be collected there, clubbed by Ivan Kovic. Another shot here for Minnesota in the second period. Michigan has not had a shot in a while. They have not been able to put a ton of pressure on it. It's been all Minnesota in the second period. We have just under 9 minutes to play.
Yeah, it was about 11-5, 6 on shots. Now 11-10.
Yep. So Michigan definitely going to want to get something going here, but they have a face-off in their own zone that they have to deal with first. Try and get it out of the area. So Michigan will win that face-off. Now Zemer has it actually behind the goal. And quick shot, but saved by Ivan Kovic. Deflected around in front. There's a little bit of a scramble for it, and now it's going to be another face-off. Michigan won that initial face-off, and then Brody Zemer was able to steal it away, skated it around the goal, and then immediately once he got an angle, took a quick shot, but Ivan Kovic was ready for it. We're going to have another face-off here between Brody Lamb and TJ Hughes. TJ Hughes has been taking a lot of the face-offs so far this game. It's been him and Draper a lot. Restart. Started early. Yeah, we got 8:30 left to play in this second period. Now it's tied for shots, 11-11. The puck is going to stay in the Michigan zone. Now into the neutral zone. Both teams scrambling for it. Mollenhauer and Middlestat scrambling. Middlestat recovers the puck. Mollenhauer in hot pursuit. Now he switches to Mooney on the right side. He's going to dump it for Zemer. His shot, deflected away by Ivan Kovic, was a little bit off the mark. Now Mooney has it behind the goal. He tried to find, that was Lamb in the middle, and it's going to go all the way back to Pascal in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota will reset here. Shift change. They find more now. Now Clark has it for Minnesota as they press. Back behind the goal. He takes a big hit. Valentini has it for Wolverines in the Minnesota zone. Back behind the goal now. Ernest has it. Finds Barnett. One-timer on the other end of the point there. Saved by Pascal. Valentini loses feet, and Minnesota gets the puck. As it's going to be flung over the boards and into the stands now while the face-off. Nice attempt there on a one-timer by Duke there on the other end of the point, but deflected away by Pascal. And now Michigan's starting to apply a little bit of pressure in this past minute. We'll have another face-off here in the Minnesota zone. Minnesota has also started to even the face-offs a little bit now. Michigan has 15. Minnesota has 16.
Yeah, and officially 11 shots now for both teams.
Yep. As Mo Horkoff grabs it out of the air, and he's going to be decked immediately by Ludke. Fans here did not like it. Spence grabs it, immediately stolen away by Clark in his own zone. Minnesota now has it. It's going to be flung deep up. It's going to be, again, out of play into the stands. That was Jacob Rombach as he was near the line. As he flung it. Looks like we might have an injury off that puck going into the stands. Hopefully she is all right. Looks like she's holding her nose. Really hoping for the best there. That can always be a little bit scary when you have a puck flung into the crowd. As Minnesota will win the faceoff, Whipple will collect it. Try to pass up the ice to Moore, but it'll be intercepted by Schock. As Robertson now has it for Michigan. And Rombach takes it away, immediately slammed to the ground by Shifsky. Big hit there along the boards. As again, we're going to have another puck going out of bounds there, this time by Moore into the Michigan bench. We'll have another faceoff in the Minnesota zone. So that's the third puck out of bounds we've had in the past 3 minutes here. As we'll have a little bit of a longer break in play now. Now we have Michigan now having a meeting on their bench. What do you think? What do you think that Brandon Nart is telling to his team right now, as the momentum is clearly starting to swing in Minnesota's favor?
Yeah, I think really just overall it's not lose focus, but also continue applying the pressure that we saw them apply in the first period.
Yep.
Right now, the advantage on shots is already gone anyway at this point.
Could not put it better on myself. Yeah, Brandon Naruto, he's going to just be telling them, go back to how you guys were playing the first period. Go back to applying that simple, fast, simple but fast. They were playing really high pace there in that first period, and it was creating a lot of chances for them. And now, they've only had 2 shots. They've had a complete flip here. In the first period, Michigan, at the end of the first period, was 9-2 in terms of shots for Michigan. And now, Minnesota has shot 9 times in this period, Michigan only twice. So we have a little bit, 6.5 minutes here left to play in this second period. As again, it is tied 1-1 here in the Yost Ice Arena. You are listening to WCBN Sports for our coverage of this matchup. This will be the final regular season series of the season. So we're prepared for this faceoff. Draper taking it, going against Faustin actually for Minnesota. Early shot here after Michigan won the faceoff by Schock, but it was deflected away by Pritchard. Now flung into the crease, but collected in between the pads of the Pascal. Again, and that is kind of, if you're Michigan, that is what you want. Immediately after the meeting in that break, you have an opportunity to apply some quick pressure. See if they can do that again off of this faceoff. Shot just wide of the goal by Shifsky. As Gruden's going to take it. Now Minnesota coming up the ice. Backhand fling it up the ice. Michigan will recover. Shifsky has it now. A lot of defenders around him. He's going to try and get in the middle. Earnesty takes a shot, and it's going to be deflected up into the net. We have another shift change here for both teams. Earnesty had an opportunity there, but good defense by Minnesota to deflect that right as he was shooting and get it into the netting. Prevent that getting close to the goal. TJ Hughes is going to be on the faceoff now, working against Mason Moe, New Jersey Devil draft pick. And Michigan will win that faceoff. Immediately taking a shot there by Perron and could not get it to go. It's off the mark. Scrambling around the boards. Here comes Minnesota. Townsend takes it up. Dumps it into the behind the goal line. Now finds his way to Moldenhauer along the opposite end of the boards. Here comes Perron. Gets checked by Thomas. Good defense there. As I believe that was going to be... We're going to have a break in play here again. Looks like it was offsides, actually.
It's 39 to go, and this second period has really flown by.
It's flown by, and it's completely flipped the momentum here. crowd here in Yost is a little bit quieter than they were in the first period. As a quick shot by Minnesota off of winning that faceoff, could not get it to go. Barnett now defending against Lamb. Couple bodies on the floor as people are scrambling for the puck along the boards. Minnesota wins it. As Thomas now has on the point. He takes a deep shot, deflected off of Lamb, just barely missed the goal. Heads up play there deflected by Lamb. Could have been nice. Pass the puck along the boards. Michigan has it now. Moldenhauer, 3-on-2 for Michigan. They have the numbers. Gets it to TJ Hughes. His shot blocked immediately by Whipple. Great defense as he falls to the floor for that block. Hughes has it now still for Michigan. Even numbers now. Moldenhauer backhands it to, tried to backhand it to Spence, but bounced off the back of the netting. They're going to dump it into the Michigan zone. Take the pressure off. Spence has it now for Michigan. Passes it inside. Intercepted, though, by Moore. He's going to take it up himself. Deflected away. Now it's behind the goal. Borkoff has it now for Michigan. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left to play. Lefty has it for Minnesota now in the neutral zone. Now Gruba has it, taking it into Michigan zone. Duke is able to tip it away. As Lutke now has it behind the goal. Deflected away by Ivan Kovic's stick. Gruba has it. He takes a deep shot, deflected off of Clark and off the mark. They're going to take it up. Now Michigan here with a little bit of play. Hage here has it, takes it into the crease, blocked nicely by DePascal. Great save. Opportunity there for Hage, but he could not convert. Rail Mullen now has it. He's going to dump it around and find Park. Now Spence has it. Rail Mullen. He's going to pass to Spence, but it was a little bit behind him. Michigan grabs the puck, though. Spence now has it again. He's going to get around Moore. Now Hage has it. He's going to take a shot, immediately deflected by Moore and over the goal. As Park going for it, he lost his footing. So did Gruba. Now it's going to stay in the Minnesota zone, and Minnesota flicks it up deep into Michigan zone. Barnett now has it. Rail Mullen takes it. Park has it. We'll get it back to Rail Mullen. He goes for the shot, but just barely misses it. Robertson now dumps it behind the Minnesota goal. Gruba was going for it. And now it's back into the Michigan side of the ice, and that'll be an icing call on Middlestat as he was trying to relieve the pressure from his team. Michigan will have a shift change here for an opportunity to score a goal here for the tired skaters, honestly. Minnesota has not had a shift change in a little bit of an extended period of time, and they were not able to after that icing. So a little bit of an opportunity here for Michigan potentially as Draper's going to take the faceoff versus Lowe. And Minnesota will win that faceoff. Taking up the ice now, that's Townsend, but stolen away by Michigan. Now back into the possession of Minnesota. So they'll dump it behind. Shock's going to get there first, though, for Michigan. Stop short. Pass it back to Robertson. Robertson up the ice now to Ernest. Stolen away by Minnesota. Now Shifsky has it. Oh, back to Mo. Changing possession a lot here these past couple of minutes. Minnesota has it. They're going to dump it behind the Michigan net. Shift change for both of these teams. Fresh skaters on. Michigan is waiting to develop their play. Robertson now gives it to Schock. Schock dumps it behind the Minnesota net. Foot race to get there. Now Rail Mullen has it on the boards. He's going to take a shot, deflected away by Pascal. Nice save. Rail Mullen takes it again along the boards. He's going to pass it to Park. Back to Rail Mullen. Defended nicely there by Thomas. Switch it along the other end. Barnett has it. Barnett gets it to McKinney. McKinney's going to switch it around. Opted for a shot, but decided to pass for Park. His shot will go in, deflected nicely by Hendrickson. Almost lost his stick, but retained possession of it. As it's still in the Minnesota zone. Lots of pressure here for Michigan. Rail Mullen now with the puck. He's going to skate around. Pass into the middle. Shot by McKinney, but beautiful save by DePascal right in the middle. Open opportunity. Another shot now that was Rail Mullen. Another save by DePascal. Into the crease now deflected away by Minnesota's defense. Michigan has the puck. 1 minute left to play here now. TJ Hughes has it to Barnett. One timer by Duke at the point. Saved again by DePascal. Michigan has possession. Perron has it. He's looking for a pass. Going to pass it inside to Duke. He takes a light shot in the middle there. Could not get it to go. Scrambling for the puck as it's loose behind the net. Now Michigan will have it. 30 seconds left in this second period. TJ Hughes with it. Skates inside. He takes a backhand shot for the net. Now, back into the Michigan zone as Minnesota was able to relieve some pressure. Duke has it for Michigan. He's going to take a shot inside, close to post, and off the post. They're switching around, but there's nobody there for Michigan. As here comes Minnesota. 5 seconds left to play. They're just going to try and get the clock out and this second period. As Brody Lamb takes it around Spence. Quite the electric ending there to the first or to the second period. Michigan was applying a ton. That last 5 minutes was all Michigan possession in the Minnesota zone. They would get a couple shots off. TJ Hughes had one right up the middle. Hage had one. But Minnesota's defense was strong. And in particular, DePascal stood strong. He's up to 18 saves on the night. He's been having a very nice game today. But like we kind of talked about it, the storyline for this period was change in momentum there. Minnesota got a power play. They're now ahead of the going into the second period. Michigan was winning the faceoff percentage 70-30, and now Minnesota's winning it 52-47. But like we said about this electric past couple minutes of the second period, Michigan is now pulled away in the shots again, 19-11, going into the second intermission. And it was purely off of those past 5 minutes. I mean, that was electric play there by the Michigan Wolverines.
For sure. Overall, Minnesota hasn't really been their season right now, 10-19-2. Nonetheless, they really haven't played like that tonight. Especially in the second period. Really, they were able to turn the tables on what was a heavily Michigan-dominated first period.
Yeah.
And they've been able to even the score. It's a 1-1 hockey game right now.
And I think the most impressive thing too is, Minnesota's offense has been incredible this season. Their forwards have all played really well this season. The offense hasn't been the issue for Minnesota this season. It's really been a little bit more of the defense so far, and their defense held strong tonight. And they've done a great job of playing tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. The defense looks very, very strong, and there's still, nonetheless, there's so much talent on the Golden Gophers roster right now.
There is. That's something that will always level the playing field, no matter what kind of season. Especially between these two blue blood teams, no matter what kind of season either is having, there's so much talent on both these teams. I mean, just like with Michigan, in the first two lines for Minnesota, all 6 of them are draft picks right there. So you have so much talent on both these ends. It's always going to be a fun game, and we're geared up for a very interesting third period. I think Minnesota started off that second period with all the momentum, and Michigan and stole it away in that final 5 minutes. So I'm going to be really interested to see how both these teams come out in this third period with how big of a momentum swing there was in that second period. I'll be really interested to see that.
20 minutes doesn't seem like a long time, but there's a lot that can happen.
There's a lot that could happen. There's a lot that could happen.
Yeah, right now we're level.
Yep.
Yeah, who knows what these next 20 minutes will have in store.
As we are going to take another break here during this second intermission, we will join you guys again in about 7 or 8 minutes here for the third period. Again, Michigan and Minnesota tied at 1. Michigan leading in the shots 19-11. You are listening to WCBN Sports. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Yost Ice Arena here in Ann Arbor. We are here for the third period between Minnesota and Michigan. Score is tied at 1 apiece here. Just kind of a quick recap for that second period. For the vast majority, for probably the first 15 minutes, it was all Minnesota right out of the gate. They had the foot on the pedal, on the gas. I mean, they were applying a ton of pressure to Michigan. They had a ton of shots early, got a power play, weren't able to convert, but were able to score pretty quickly after the power play. And it just seemed like they were rolling in that second period until the last 5 minutes of that second period was all Michigan. I think they kept the puck in the Minnesota zone pretty much the entire 5 minutes of the last part of that second period. Got a lot of shots on. Honestly, to me, the biggest thing that I noticed and why that last 5 years matter is the shots they were taking were really good looks, really high quality looks. Again, in the first half or the first period, they led in shots, but a lot of them were not necessarily great looks. But in that last 5 minutes of this last period, they had a lot of really good looks. And credit to the Pascal and the Minnesota Golden Gophers defense because they did a great job of defending those.
Yeah, for sure. And it will really be interesting to see what happens next. Really, this third period can go either way. It's a 1-1 game, 20 minutes to go, and there's just a lot of I would say overall unknowns as to what really
and
lies
honestly,
ahead.
that favors Minnesota in my opinion. Michigan's been a great team, but when you let a really high, good offense and a little bit of a scrappy team here in Minnesota, if you keep them in this game late, that is going to come back to hurt you. So I think that gives the edge to Michigan or to Minnesota as Michigan now has the puck.
Yeah, and if Michigan wants to get ahead, they'll have to really set the tone early on in this
Yes,
third period.
earlier in this period. Yep. As Michigan now has the puck behind the Minnesota goal. Minnesota's able to steal it away. Duke has it now. Swung into the corner. Pascal comes out of net to recover. Big hit there along the boards by Draper as Michigan will keep the puck in the Minnesota zone. Here's Fantilli. He takes a deep shot. Nice save by DePascal as he slides over to cover the left part of the net. Very deep shot there by Fantilli there from the point, and it was on line. Now Zemer with the opportunities. He knocks the puck out of the air going towards the Michigan goal. Could not quite get it to go, though, as good defense by Michigan gives them the puck in their own zone. Flung away, though. Now Minnesota has it. Thomas, deep shot from the point up over the goal. Age has it now. Finds Horkoff. Horkoff working on Whipple. He's going to skate by him. Go around the net. He's going to pass it to Robertson. Flicked away there, though, by Zemer there. So we're going to have a penalty here called. And a face-off. Looks like it might have been a little bit of interference there by Robertson as Zemer there. Yep, as interference penalty there. Early power play here in the third period for Minnesota as Zemer was able to break away a pass from a little back pass from Horkoff to Robertson. And in Robertson's attempt to keep Zemer away from getting a breakaway, interference. So that's going to be a power play as Robertson goes to the penalty box. Early opportunity here in this third period for Minnesota to set the tone. Nelson working on McKenney for the face-off. Michigan will win it. Minnesota was 0 for 1 in their previous face-off as Michigan will now fling it deep into the Minnesota zone. See if Minnesota can score on this face-off. Or sorry, on this power play, unlike they were able to in the second period. Pardon. Being hit by Fantilli on Filson on the boards. Duke has puck behind the Michigan goal now. Several players for both teams scrambling for it. Big hit by Ernest along the boards on Clark. Clark retains the puck. He's going to find more. Stolen away there by Duke, though. He's going to switch it around. Fantilli. They could again switch it deep into the Minnesota zone. Michigan's doing a good job of relieving the pressure on this power play. They've killed almost half of it. As here comes Middlestat. Working. Pass it to Mooney. His shot, one-timer, off the mark. Now Moldenhauer again deep into the Minnesota zone. They're doing an excellent job on killing this power play. And a power play unit that is really good in Minnesota. They pass it deep now into the Michigan zone. Open goal here. And a breakaway, 2-on-1. And that's going to be Middlestat with a goal for Minnesota. Two forwards got behind the defenders for Michigan. It was Middlestat and Mooney, and they are able to finish the goal there with 30 seconds left in the power play. Minnesota's going to take a 2-1 lead really early in this third period. How about that?
Yeah, it's definitely surprising considering how consistent and strong Michigan has been all season, and to now take a lead later into the game against a Tip 19 to Minnesota team. Really not what was expected.
No, not at all. And I mean, Michigan was doing a good job of killing that power play. There was a couple instances where they were able to just hit it deep into Minnesota's zone, but it was just so many repetitions of it that Minnesota was able to. They kind of got Michigan's defense sleeping. They were able to sneak Middlestat and Moore and Mooney behind that line because Michigan was sleeping a little bit, and they get a goal on a nice 2-on-1 breakaway. We're on now with it. Minnesota has the puck in their own zone. Here comes the Golden Gophers. Pass it to Middlestat. Gets it to Moe behind the net. Hughes takes it away. Pass it to Perron. Hughes has it, but it gets stolen away by Middlestat. Now back to Michigan as Valentini's going to fling it way across the other end of the ice. Minnesota now has the puck. Grabbed out of the air by Spence. His shot off the mark. Deflected away there by DePasco's going for top corner, and he got his arm up there. It went up into the netting, and we'll have a face-off. So I think that was I think Minnesota's first shot of the period too. That goal came on. They had not generated a shot yet in the period, and they went 1 for 1. And now they are 1 for 2 on the night on power plays. As we'll redo this face-off. Crowd getting into it a little bit now, trying to get the team back into the game. This is huge for Minnesota. If they can get Michigan to play from behind for the next 16 minutes, I mean, that's huge. Cuba flings it behind the net. Spence has it for Michigan. Now Minnesota takes it away. Moore took it. Now Ludke, back to Moore. Back to Ludke. He takes a shot right at Ivan Kovic. No, it went in through his legs. Oh my goodness, that's another goal for Minnesota. It looked like Ivan Kovic had that save immediately, and then it actually went in. Wow.
Yeah, this is shocking. Very surprising.
That's an uncharacteristic there from Michigan and Ivan Kovic. Nice shot though by Ludke. Nice. It was one little 1-2 play, kind of similar to soccer almost, where Moore and Ludke were kind of 1-2 there on defense, and Ludke got an open angle, let it rip, and he's rewarded 3-1 now. Minnesota, as they have just started this third period on fire after Michigan really was controlling the last couple minutes of that second period. So Minnesota's completely and utterly swung the momentum here in the third period. As we'll redo the face-off again after this goal. Crowd not loving it here. As it's going to be McKinney going against Folsom. Michigan will win the faceoff. Robertson collects now behind the goal. Big hit there by Hendrickson. Michigan down 2 goals here. Just under 16 minutes to play here in the third period. Robertson has it for Michigan. Flings it to McKinney. Gets it in to... Oh, good shot there by Robertson, but deflected away by DePascal. McKinney now fighting. Another shot now from Robertson, deep from the point. Off the mark. As it's scrambling now around the net near the crease. Minnesota's able to recover the puck and get it out of the danger. Hendrickson now has it. Passes it to Paulson. Off his skate. Schock takes it for Michigan. As we're going to have a shift change here for both teams. Get fresh skaters on. Michigan's still leading in the shots. Minnesota has had 2 shots this period, and both have been goals. They came into this period with 11 shots. Now they have 13 and 2 goals. As Michigan has it now in the Minnesota zone. Duke has it at the top of the point. His shot deflected away by DePascal. Deep shot. Now it's scrambling behind near the face-off circle. Duke has it now. Big hit by Zemer along the boards. Has it, kicks it. Now Mooney steals it away from him. Switches it to Whipple. Now it's going to be back into the Michigan zone. That's Ernest is going to recover behind his own net. Switch it. Valentini. Out of Hughes as he takes it into the neutral zone. Passes it deep over there to Perron in Minnesota territory. Defended well, but now have Robertson with the puck. His shot deep, deflected away there by Whipple. Good defense. Another shot from Robertson, deflected away. Now, good save by DePascal. Behind the goal, Minnesota's goal, that is. Perron has it. Tries to pass it backwards to Robertson, who flings it back inside into traffic. Michigan fans want to call there. Looks like there might have been interference. Won't see anything, but it will be a face-off as play stops. Just under 14 minutes to play here in Ann Arbor. Michigan down 3-1. Minnesota Golden Gophers applying a ton of pressure in this third period. They've been electric so far. Again, they have 2 shots this period and 2 goals. I mean, you can't get much better than that. Scrambling behind the net now. As here comes Minnesota into the Michigan zone. Ivan Kova's going to come out of the net behind his net to grab the puck. Flick it up along the glass to get it back in the neutral zone. Here's Moore. He's going to dump it into Michigan territory. Again, Ivan Kova will come out of net. Duke. Now Horkoff. Now to Spence. Barnett has it. He dumps it into Minnesota territory. He's putting pressure there. Could not get it to go. Barnett takes a big hit. And we'll have a shift change here. New line on for Michigan. Here comes Thomas with the puck. We're going to dump it back in the Michigan zone. Ivan Kovic collects. Here comes Ernest. Stolen away, though, by Mooney. Him and Schock working for it behind the goal. Stolen away now by Lamb. Here's Thomas. He takes a deep shot off the mark. Rattles around behind the goal. Now it's in the neutral zone with Minnesota. A little bit of miscommunication there by Lamb and McLaughlin. Almost taken away there by Moldenhauer. Minnesota now passing it back in their zone. Mooney passes it behind the Michigan goal. Zemer there is there to collect, defended by Fantilli and Schock. Now Hendrickson has it along the boards. Schock defending. Now another shot here from Minnesota from Hendrickson, saved nicely by Ivan Kovic. And now we've got a little bit of a scrum here between Schock and Hendrickson. Quickly broken up here by the refs. Schock thought Hendrickson got a little too physical after looking for the rebound on that shot. when Ivan Kovic was laying on the ice with it. So he did not take lightly to that. Always got to protect your goalie. Just over 12 minutes here in the third period in Ann Arbor. Michigan leading in shots 25-14, but Minnesota having the last laugh right now, leading in goals 3-1.
Yeah, it's kind of ironic to be down 11 shots, but up by 2 points. But that shows.
I mean, they've just shown incredible efficiency so far in this period.
Yeah.
To be up, to immediately flip the score. Like, it's not even like they tied or won at 1 goal. I mean, they're up 2 goals right now, and both those were in like the first 5 minutes of the period. They just completely flipped the game on its head. And you're forcing Michigan to play from behind late in this game, which is not necessarily something they're used to in this game. So it's going to show, for Michigan to come back into this game, it's going to show a lot of resiliency, a lot of maturity, and a lot of discipline to get back in this game, because this is not something they're used to from playing behind. And credit to Minnesota here for really giving it to them in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, they've been down to the third period before, especially just a few weeks ago, earlier into the season, the series against Michigan State. Down 3-1 in the third period, ended up winning in overtime 4-3. They've been down before, but obviously it's very tough to come back from this deficit. It doesn't happen a lot.
But there's still 12 minutes of hockey left to play, and we've seen how quick. I mean, Michigan scored on a power play, so if they can generate another power play here, their power play percentage is very high in this country. So Michigan's going to win the face-off. Valentini now gets it out of there. Draper in for Michigan Wolverines. He's going to dump it behind the Minnesota net. Ruba's there to collect. Now Michigan has the puck. Shot inside to the crease, deflecting around. There's a little bit of a scramble for it. Beautiful save. Oh, my goodness. By DePascal. Valentini was able to collect them off the deflection. A little bit of backhand shot, and Pascal dove onto his stomach to make that grab there. That is an incredible effort, an incredible save by him to get there.
Yeah, for sure. He was willing to put himself on the line, and he was out there to that. Avoided the Wolverines cutting the lead in half. They're still up 2 goals.
I mean, he has 24 saves on the night. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Yes.
Rail Mullen now with the puck for the Michigan Wolverines. He takes it, tried to sneak it inside there to Hughes, but a little bit off the mark, and Minnesota's going to take it away. And that was going to be an icing now. Robertson was in pursuit with more behind him, but Robertson beat him there. So icing call here on the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Another chance to win a faceoff in the Minnesota zone for Michigan. There's a little bit of talking here between the Michigan players, see what they can draw up. As TJ Hughes will go against Jimmy Clark on this faceoff. Minnesota wins it. They'll have the puck. Stolen away quickly by Michigan along the boards. Michigan now has the puck. Here's Park into Hughes, and that's going to be a goal. Top bins. Great play there by Michigan to cut the deficit to 1 here with just over 11 minutes to play. And that has electrified the crowd here. Perron had the puck, tipped it backwards to Hughes, and he had an open look there. No defenders in his way, and buries it in the top corner. Nothing that Pascal can do. If you give TJ Hughes an open look like that, he is not going to miss, as the score is now 3-2 here in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, Hughes' goal really breathes life into this Michigan, to the crowd, to the team.
Yep.
Overall swing of momentum. We have a game here.
We have a game, and that's how important it is to win those faceoffs in the enemy opponent's zone. I mean, that was a direct result of winning the faceoff, because it was like 3 touches after winning the faceoff that they scored that goal, and were able to generate that look for TJ Hughes, which is a look that you want to generate a ton, because he's not missing an opportunity like that. 11 minutes to play here now in Ann Arbor. It's in Minnesota zone. Will Horkoff with it. Rubo working against him. Now stolen away by Minnesota and Luke Middlestat. That's going to pass deep into Michigan zone as Barnett. And Barnett was going at it with, that was Zemer, and Zemer loses his stick. A little bit of physicality now between McKinney going in there to defend his guy. as we're going to have an icing. So, again, we just saw a minute ago, icing on Minnesota. Michigan wins the faceoff, leads to a goal. Yep. So we have a replica of that play here right now. If Michigan can win this faceoff, you generate another good opportunity to score a goal and tie this game in the third period. And it's like Michigan does win that faceoff, although it's fumbling around there in the corner. No team really has clear possession. Fantilli has it now at the point. He takes a deep shot, deflected away by DePascal. Perron now has it. Pardon. It's actually in the corner. Here's Fantilli. He's going to pass to Perron. He's going to take a deep shot. Blocked by DePascal. Rebound off, though. Robertson's there to get it, but Minnesota's able to defend well. Shot up into the air. Perron now has it. He's going to skate into the Minnesota zone. Good pass there for Draper. Save. Kick save by DePascal off the shot of Draper. Here comes the Golden Gophers. Here's Townsend. Gets hit up along the boards by Fantilli. Loses the puck. But there's Mo to collect. Here's Townsend again with the puck. Now Mo. Couple players here on the boards fighting for the puck. As Barnett's going to pin Townsend against the boards. And Draper's going to kick that puck out of there. Several players here all fighting along the boards for the puck. Here comes Spence now. He's able to squeak away with the puck. In the corner of Minnesota zone now. Now behind the net. Here comes Mo. He's looking for a pass. Finds Middlestat. He's going to dump it deep into the Michigan zone. Barnett gets pinned by Mo. Here comes Spence, though, with the puck for Michigan. Now Rail Mullen. He's going to have the puck. He's going to take a shot, but it's deflected immediately there by John Whipple, and it goes up into the netting. Nice opportunity there for Rail Mullen, and he takes a nice shot, but good defense there by Whipple. Just over 9 minutes to play. Michigan has life late in this game. Minnesota up 3-2. You are listening to WCBN Sports as we are live in Ann Arbor. As we'll have another face-off in the Minnesota zone. Let's see what Michigan could potentially generate here. Michigan's going to win that face-off. Immediate shot by Moldenhauer, but just barely wide off that face-off. He had a nice look on goal. Here's Rail Mullen. That's a shot. Deflected away by Minnesota. Robertson's shot deflected away. Robertson's able to grab the puck again, though. Here's Moldenhauer to McKenney. As Middlestat falls on top of McKenney. Oh, open look there for Moldenhauer, but the pass was just wide. There's no one over there defending him. Now Minnesota has the puck in their own zone behind the goal. In the corner now. Michigan lays a huge hit on Alson along the boards. And there's going to be an offsides call now. Minnesota was trying to press. Icing call. Minnesota was trying to press there, and huge hit by Draper along the boards to prevent that from happening. And this is the exact spot that Michigan scored quickly off of the faceoff before, and it was because TJ Hughes won that faceoff. They're trying to replicate that in this faceoff right now. We have 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to play. Minnesota is able to win the faceoff. Gruba takes it behind his own net. He's going to pass it deep up the boards in the neutral zone. Michigan takes it away. They're going to dump it into behind Minnesota's net. Along the boards. Here's Duke with the puck for Michigan. He's going to dump it now. No one over there. Now there's a little bit of a scramble for the puck behind the Minnesota net. Minnesota comes away with it. Porkoff's there, though. Zemer now tries to deflect it out of his zone. Fantilli has it. He takes a deep shot. Could not get it to go. There was a little bit of traffic in the net, and it looks like it went off of the back of a Minnesota defender. That was Jacob Rombach. Zemer now behind Michigan's net. Lays a big hit on Duke. Could not get the puck to go. Fantilli has it now in Michigan's zone. They're going to try and... they're going to send it deep into Minnesota's zone now. Scrambling in the corner for it. Michigan comes away with it. Here's Rail Mullen. Here's Barnett. He's going to take a shot, deflected away, though. Deflected immediately away by Jimmy Clark, and that was a nice look for him. But again, a nice deflection. And that's another area that Minnesota has been excelling in this game. They have 26 now after that one. Blocks away. So their defense done a great job of kind of putting themselves in the way of a lot of these Michigan shots. You know, despite Michigan, again, being up in the shots by 15, a lot of it is just because Minnesota's defense has done a great job of deflecting those away. As Michigan wins the faceoff, immediate shot here from Moldenhauer, but it's saved away by DePascal. Rail Mullins now takes a shot, but it's cooped up by DePascal. As McKinney starts to get into it a little bit with Javon Moore. As we'll have a shift change here before the next faceoff. 7 minutes left to go in this third period. Michigan starting to put a lot of pressure on. The first 5 minutes of the third period was all Minnesota, scoring 2 goals on 2 shots, but now Michigan is starting to crawl their way back and gain some momentum. As Michigan wins the faceoff, another immediate shot by Raul Mullen, and it gets deflected above the goal. Yet another shot from deep from Moldenhauer. Deflected, could not get the rebound to go, though. As here comes Zemer for Minnesota. He's going to lose his footing. Michigan collects behind their goal. Here comes McKinney. He's going to dump it deep into Minnesota zone as they're fighting for the puck. That's Ernest, stolen away by Minnesota. And Lamb just opts to dump it back deep into the puck so they can have a shift change and have a new line here out on the ice. Here comes Draper with the puck. Goes away by his skate. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of an offsides here on that. Draper, the pass was late going to, looked like that was Valentini. The pass was late, and that'll be a offsides here as we have 6 minutes, 13 seconds left to go in the third period for a quick break and play here. What have you seen from both these teams in the past couple minutes, Caleb?
I've seen a lot, I think a bigger sense of urgency from the Wolverines than at the start of this third period. Obviously, Minnesota came out with a lot of strength and went up by 2 goals as a result of that. Right now, Wolverines have really put on some more of that pressure that we saw them put on in the first period, and it's allowed them to score 1 goal, cut the lead in half, and right now they're really pressing hard to try to get that third goal, that equalizer.
Yep. I like that you mentioned the sense of urgency because it really just seemed like, you know, Michigan had all this momentum going into the second intermission, and then coming into the third period, they just came out flat. Sure. I mean, that first goal, Minnesota just straight up beat them, but that third goal, they caught Michigan sleeping a little bit and were able to sneak some forwards behind, and that's what made the difference there early in the third period. But you're right, like you said, Michigan has started to increase the pace of play, pick up a sense of urgency, and that's honestly the biggest thing for Michigan all season. When they're successful, because they're playing quick, they're making the game a track meet, because Michigan has so much depth and so much endurance that if they can make the game a track meet and make it go quick, most other teams in the country cannot keep up with that. So I think that's what they're trying to do right now in these final minutes here. That's what they should try to do in these final minutes here of the third period. As Draper here will go for the faceoff against Clark. Minnesota will win it. Here comes Gruba. He dumps it deep into Michigan territory. Barnett working there against Moore. Here comes Duke with the puck now for Michigan as he sends it up into the Minnesota zone. Middlestad's there to recover it. As that puck's going to bounce into the crowd, into the penalty box actually, as it goes over the glass near the boards, and that's where we have another faceoff. Minnesota now just doing all they can to prevent another goal from happening. You know, they go up 2 goals late in this third period. They're trying to stay off the Wolverines here, pick up a spoiler win, and break their losing streak to the Michigan Wolverines. As we prepare for another face-off here in the Minnesota zone. And TJ Hughes wins it for the Wolverines. Uriel Mullen. Here's a shot. Saved away by DePascal. Scrambling in the crease for the puck. Perron gets it for the Wolverines. He's going around Thomas. Here comes Robertson. It's Rail Mullen. He's going to take a shot. Deflected early, though. One-timer from the corner there from TJ Hughes, blocked by DePascal. As he's another shot from Robertson and saved by DePascal. Great sequence there for DePascal. He's able to stave off 3 shots back to back to back for the Golden Gophers. Michael Hayes was also heavily involved in there, as he had a couple looks and a couple key passes in those sequences. But great sequence there from DePascal to be able to block that flurry of shots that was almost in the span of like 20 seconds there. Michigan got 3 shots off.
Yeah, Michigan is applying so much pressure right now. But
and at some point, you just got to feel something's got to go in.
Yeah, for sure. But right now, the Golden Gopher defense is standing tall.
Yep. TJ Hughes wins the faceoff again for Michigan. Rail Mullen now with it. He's going to look to shoot, and it deflects off the crossbar, not in. Scramble for the puck in front of the goal. Minnesota's going to get it. But then Rail Mullen here back again. We've called his name a lot today. He's going to steal it away back in his own zone. Michigan gathers themselves. Here's Ernest skating into past the blue line. He's going to skate around the circle. He tries to take it around and in, and now a deep shot from Duke, and that's going to be gloved by DePascal. Tyler Duke tried to sneak in a shot from the point. Looks like it was going up and away, but DePascal gloved it anyway.
.451 left here in the third period, 3-2. Minnesota up right now, but the Wolverines continuing to press very hard in these final 5 minutes.
And Minnesota has, besides those, Minnesota entered the third period with 11 shots. They scored 2 on their first 2 shots. They're only at 14 now. They have not generated a ton of pressure after those first couple goals here. Michigan really has started to really ramp it up here. As, again, they recognize, less than 5 minutes to play here in the third period. We need a sense of urgency. We need to get something going. As that's going to get dumped into interesting actually happened there. It got dumped into the Minnesota zone, bounced off of the bottom of the wall there and up into the netting, as we'll have a face-off. In the neutral zone, or sorry, actually in center ice, we'll have a face-off. As again, we have 4 minutes, 30 seconds left to play here in Ann Arbor. As Hughes will win the face-off for Michigan. Fantilli now taking it. Up the neutral zone, past the blue line. He's trying to find Hughes, stolen away by Minnesota now. More opts to dump it. Here's Ivan Kovic. Gives it to Duke. Michigan moving fast. Here's Duke. Dumps it deep into Minnesota territory. He's going to actually look to recover his own pass. There's Perron. Sorry, Hage actually had it. He passed it to Fantilli. Now Hage again. As he gets slammed against the wall by Whipple. Here's Zemer. He switches it over to Mooney. Hughes is there to defend. Now Duke is there to defend. Spence now takes it away for Michigan. Moldenhauer could not get there. And it's going to be deflected out near the scores table now. We have another face-off here. Michigan doing all they can to prevent that rush from Minnesota in that last sequence there. A little bit of a miscommunication looked like on a pass near the boards. Moldenhauer, I think, the pass was meant for him, but I don't think knew that. It was a little bit slow to get there. McKinney's going to go for a face-off now. Minnesota wins it. Here's Middlestat. He shoots it in, deflected by Hendrickson away from the goal. Duke grabs it out of the air. Pardon, not Duke. Spence grabs it out of the air. Here comes Michigan in the Minnesota zone. They do a line change quickly. McKinney now has it for Michigan. Spence has it. He shoots it around the back of the boards. Here's Rail Mullen. Now here comes Minnesota. Here's Fowlson. Passes it to Hendrickson. Here's Fowlson again. Michigan's there to defend, though, as they're going to take it up the ice now. Here's Moldenhauer. He's going to take it into the center. Looked to go for a shot there, but defended nicely by Morris. His stick was able to deflect it before he could go anywhere. Here comes Minnesota on the press. Moore racing to the puck, defended by Rail Mullen. Now Barnett takes it away. Valentini for Michigan across center ice. Now Draper has it. quick shot when Draper passed it off to Valentini, actually. And DePascal was able to deflect it away. As we're going to have another break in play as the puck went out into the crowd again, this time near the Minnesota bench. 2.5 minutes to play. Minnesota up 3-2 here. 2.5 minutes to play. You are listening to WCBN Sports coverage of this matchup between Michigan and Minnesota. And again, now that St. Ursu's really starting to creep in, Minnesota is able to slow down Michigan's press a little bit. And, only got 2.5 minutes. There was a timeout also. As you only have 2.5 minutes left to play here. And you gotta understand, we're down a goal there. What do you think we're talking about right here, trying to get back into?
Yeah, I think to keep the pressure up right now, especially, like you said, just about 2.5 minutes to go. There really aren't that many more. There aren't going to be that many opportunities for the Wolverines to try to create chances to get the equalizer.
Yeah, that would be the biggest thing that I'm thinking Narado is telling his guys right now is, they've done a great job of creating opportunities this game. I mean, they have 36 shots compared to Minnesota's 14. They've done a great job of doing that, but you have to understand that with so little time left in the game, it doesn't matter how many chances you created before, you're not going to have that many opportunities to create more chances. So you really got to make the most of the ones you get. We have 2:24 left to play in this third period. As we prepare for a face-off in the Minnesota zone.
Big face-off here.
Should be huge. And Minnesota wins the face-off, and they have numbers here coming into Michigan territory. It's an open net, and it goes off the crossbar as Michigan has pulled their goalie at this point. Minnesota was not able to score on the open net on a breakaway. They took a little bit of a deep shot as there's a little bit of a scramble for the puck in front of the crease. There's nobody in goal for Michigan, and Michigan's defense is able to do an incredible job of preventing an open net goal. As here's another shot. Great block by Hage as he's the only defender back there defending the open net. Now here comes Michigan.
I don't know if we've ever seen this before.
That was an incredible stand right there by the Michigan defense to prevent a shot from going in while they had no goalie in net. And now here's the Minnesota breakaway as they're going to slowly backhand it in from half ice, and that is going to go in that was Brody Lamb as he was approaching the blue line. 2 defenders on him, a lot of traffic, and he's able to just barely get a backhand off. It was not a high velocity shot, but I mean, there was nobody back there, so it doesn't matter how hard you hit it. It was able to squeak in.
Yeah, impressive effort, impressive stand from the Wolverines for the time being. Unfortunately for them, they let that one.
It's hard to defend an onslaught of opportunities when you have an open goal. I mean, when you have an empty net. I mean, they did a great job though to defend the initial couple shots there from Minnesota when they had an open net.
Yeah, unfortunately for them, nothing you can do once someone breaks away with an open net except hope that they miss.
And, I mean, they were able to generate that. And as they bring Ivan Kovic, they had him initially, but now he's back off the ice. Again, Michigan with an open net. Down 4-2, just over a minute to play here. And here's Rail Mullen for Michigan. Finds Moldenhauer. Moldenhauer working along the right. Tried to find Valentini there. Pass was a little bit too far ahead. Under a minute to play now here in Ann Arbor. Not Rail Mullen. That was Shifsky took a deep shot from the point, but gloved by DePascal. Incredible effort tonight from DePascal to really just defend well when he's faced 37 shots today.
Yeah, an impressive stand. Only 2 goals allowed. That's about 35 saves, and that's incredible for the number 2 team in the nation right now.
We have a late face-off here. 51 seconds left to play in the third period. Minnesota up 4-2 on Michigan. Michigan wins the face-off. Here's Perrone. He's going to take a pass inside. Back to him now. Here's Hage at the point to Perrone. He's going to take a quick shot. Could not get it to go. Now, that was Draper with the rebound. His shot got deflected above the goal. 30 seconds left to play. in the third period. Here's Hage now with it. He's going to take a deep shot, and it's deflected away. No goal. The Pascal made a quick move on that. Horkoff has it for Michigan, and he is not able to secure the pass there from Ernest, as it's going to roll all the way back into Michigan's zone. And here comes Michigan for one last attempt here. Perron. Here's Hughes. Going to pass it back to Perron, as that is going to do it here in Ann Arbor as we end regulation here, end the third period. Minnesota wins 4-2 in this game, despite being down 39-15 in shots. And really it came down to the initial energy they came out with in the third period. I mean, they opened the first 3 minutes of the third period with 2 goals off of 2 shots. Michigan showed life late with about 6 minutes left in the game and cut the deficit to 1, but then it got too late. They had to pull the goalie, and Minnesota, you've given that many opportunities with an open net, they're not going to miss, and they made sure of that.
Yeah, it's definitely a great win for Minnesota as they start to wrap up their season. Probably not too many games left for them at this point, but this is a great win.
Yeah.
A way to go out with some
a great way to play sport. I mean, what was your biggest takeaway for this game?
I think that it just shows that at the end of the season, it's always important to not let your foot off the gas, maybe not get so ahead of yourself when thinking about the postseason. But also on the other hand, for Minnesota, that hockey is hockey, and whoever shows up and is willing to play the most will come up with the win. And I think for Michigan, obviously, tough loss, kind of maybe slightly embarrassing loss considering how Minnesota's season's gone. Nonetheless, it might be one of those losses that
you learn
could
from
actually,
it.
Can be learned from. And as long as they do that, it will help them in the post as we go into the Big Ten tournament, the NCAA tournament. There'll be tougher games. It won't be just kind of an easy season where you can coast, and you kind of need losses like these to learn some of your learn your weaknesses and learn how to grow from those.
Yeah, I think my biggest takeaway, and you kind of touched on it, is honestly the resiliency of this Minnesota team. Despite how the season's gone, I mean, they showed incredible resiliency. I mean, they had 30 blocks, they faced 39 shots from Michigan, and they just showed time and time again how resilient they were, because there were many stretches in this game that, I mean, it was all Michigan. Michigan would keep the puck in their zone for extended periods of time there, and they just showed time and time again how resilient they were to resist that. And then they showed themselves flashes on offense. On offense, the biggest thing for Minnesota was their efficiency with the puck. I mean, I'll say it again. I feel like we keep saying it, but I mean, they scored two goals on 2 shots in the third period. And you saw, I mean, they lost the shot ratio by almost a factor of 2 there. By more than a factor of 2, pardon me. But it just showed how efficient they were with the puck when they got it. When they got their opportunities to score and to shoot, they were so efficient with it, and they made it work. And that, I think, was the key difference, in my opinion, in this game. Is Michigan obviously created a lot of opportunities, had almost 40 shots, but a lot of them weren't great looks. A lot of them were through lots of traffic or from deep, or just kind of very quick or forced looks. And whereas Minnesota, they made the most of it. They took time passing it, and so when they did shoot it, it was a great look and a high percentage look. And I think that was really just the big difference, is the efficiency between the 2 offenses. And you have any final thoughts here to wrap it up in Ann Arbor?
Yeah, not too much. We have coverage of tomorrow night's game. It'll be senior night here in Ann Arbor. Michigan takes on Minnesota once again, looking to find some redemption from that. But really a full weekend of sports here, especially on WCBN. Tough loss for the Wolverines, but they can bounce back. They have a lot to still prove as they head over to the postseason. But tomorrow night, senior night here, is a special night for the team and for really the university as a whole.
For the whole community.
Yeah, as we approach spring break week, month of March, spring in general is coming, and so it has been really a wonderful season so far in this hockey.
Lots more to come. Lots more to come as they prepare to go into the Big Ten tournament and the NCAA tournament. Could not have put it better myself, Caleb. As that's going to do it for us here at Yost Ice Arena. It was a fun one. I had a pleasure calling it with you.
Yeah,
And that'll do it for us. It was Again, Evan Anderson, Kayla Brown here, and Yost Arena. We'll leave you how we always, again, like you said, tune in to WCBN Sports' coverage tomorrow, and we'll leave you how we always leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.